Hello, world. So, I'm really struggling with the whole figuring out what I'm doing thing with career in general. Um, I think I'm doing that thing where basically there are so many options to choose from that I'm overwhelmed and just my brain is like, oh, which direction should I pick? So, disclaimer, little bit intimidated about life and picking the right path because I've seen what it looks like when things just don't work out, and then you're stressed with bills, you're stressed with life, you're stuck. And I'm not trying to be like that. And I've had a lot of things invested into me that I want to actually bring into fruition, but I'm so freaking I just don't know what to do. And I started out being a good student, quote unquote. I was actually a scholar, like ranking in scholarly things and whatever. And then there were things that happened in my non scholastic life that completely impacted how I saw myself and the effort that I put into things. And I no longer really had vision for what I was doing. So I kind of I was just doing everything the most, just passing through everything. I had a high school scholarship that I was on. My mom did so much to get me to that point, and I couldn't see past where I was feeling, and I had a lot of anger and a lot of honestly unresolved emotions that I didn't know how to maneuver. And so instead, I shut down. I started blocking things out. I stopped trying at things in general. And um, I think starting from about fifth grade, kind of went back a little bit, but starting from about fifth grade, there was just this ongoing battle inside of like, who am I? Do I matter? I keep hearing these different things about, oh, you're smart, oh, you're capable, oh, you're talented, whatever. But then it doesn't seem like anything that I'm doing is going to get anywhere. Like, why is my life like this? Why am I seeing these kind of things? Like, why is there so much struggle? Why is there so much stress in my home environment? Why aren't things the way they should be? If you know if that's what I am. So I went through that whole struggle on and off again, on and off again. Some quarters and semesters I would be top of my class, and then other quarters and semesters I'd be bottom of my class, and it'd just be going back and forth to the point where different teachers and instructors that I had over a course of time, they would just be like, there's no way that she knows the material. You gotta test her. Like, you gotta test her because she sleeps in class, or she doesn't pay attention, or you know she won't do any of the homework for a week, and then she'll bust an A on a quiz or bust an A on a test, and it makes no sense. And I can understand why they would feel that way. What they didn't know was that most nights from about fifth grade all the way through college, really, um I wasn't sleeping. Like, it got progressively worse as I got older, to the point where I actually developed a physical condition to where I couldn't even sleep. And I kept that as much to myself as I could because I didn't like the stigmas that came with that, and I didn't understand it myself, like what went into all that. But I've gone into so many academic hearings where they would give me a quiz or a test off the fly, because they would be like, there's no way that she knows this material. It doesn't make any sense. she's got to be cheating. And it was so funny at the times where it'd be like, no, bitch, I'm not cheating. I'm not consistent with doing the schoolwork. Some days I would just feel too overwhelmed to do it. Some days I didn't want to do it at all. And it wasn't from a lazy standpoint. It was from a, what's the point? You know? And I guess now, almost, like 15 years later, because I'm 27, about to be 28 in a few weeks. So I was like, 10, so almost 18 years now. There's been this back and forth, just chaos in my life, nothing really consistent. And most of it was just me trying to get my emotions and my head in the right space. It was hard. So I decided, instead of wallowing and sitting in what is my fear of failure and not being worthy, not being good enough, I recognize where it comes from. It's from being raised to believe that I couldn't understand why, when I was younger, why my parents weren't together. They never lived together, never were married, none of that. But there was just always this thing, and I was raised in a Christian household with some strict guidelines, so to speak. And I think it's really hard to raise children in something that your life doesn't fully reflect, because it becomes confusing. And my mother, she's never been married, but she had two children with my father. Or you could put it the other way, my dad never married my mom, but had 2 kids with her. And neither of those pregnancies, neither of those children were planned, and neither by either of them. And to a degree, we weren't wanted. Like, my mom loves my brother and I to death. Like, she has prioritized almost everything around us. And it's sad because she's given up so much in order to do that. And then my dad, he loves us, but there were very clear distinctions, that there were barriers between us and him because of the conflict between him and our mother. And so that was really confusing coming up under, because it was like, well, you know, what, like, am I just a mistake? I wasn't supposed to be here. Then why am I here? And then I'm told all these good things, but it's not really reflected in my environment. So anyway, a lot of my doubts and confusions come from that space, and they never really got addressed. They never really got healed. And so they spawned all kinds of bad habits and negative thought patterns. And so I don't want that to impact how I live the rest of my life. I feel really bad about the fact that I didn't give my fullest to my education and to my development for myself, or at least for the people who invested so much into me. Because, you know, my mom, she poured a lot. I won't say everything, because I don't think it's possible to pour everything, but she got pretty close to everything. And I want to pay her back. And I don't mean like money. although I do intend to be a financial provider for her at some point when I get everything that I'm supposed to be on track with. But I want her to know that all the effort and all the sacrifices she made to make sure that I come through, that they're paid and that they bear good fruit. So I'm really scared about how my career is going to turn out. It took me 8 years to get my bachelor's degree, mostly because my social and emotional experiences through college dictated my behaviors, my patterns. I was not responsible. I was not organized. I was not consistent. I was not dedicated. I was all over the place, and my mind was just a mess. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna go ahead and just be myself, and I'm gonna walk through this whole process. And I feel like I need to do this because I want to show myself that I can do it, and I want to show myself that I'm putting in the work, because there have been so many years where I've been inconsistent with putting in work. So and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I'm giving myself the best shot possible. So that's what I'm going to do, and that's where these recordings are coming from. And if anybody benefits from seeing it, that's great. And if you're just here to pop in, pop out, well, welcome and hello. And my name is Marissa. I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I think this is the path to take. So without further ado, I'm gonna close this video, and then I'm gonna get into actual research on career. Thank you.